The individual comes face to face with a conspiracy so monstrous he cannot believe it exists. The American mind has not yet come to a realization of the evil which has been introduced into our midst. It rejects even the assumption that human creatures could espouse a philosophy which must ultimately destroy all that is good and decent. J. Edgar Hoover. Now, J. Edgar Hoover was a complicated individual, but in this particular respect, he got it right. There is evil in the world, but don't mistake it for imperfection. There are a lot of folks out there doing their very best, but as we all know, the Bible says we're all fallen and flawed and have come short. But we don't choose evil when it's right in front of us. How many of you have heard that with everything Donald Trump has on his plate to do to get ready between now and inauguration, 20 January, that he took time out of his schedule to have a sit-down conversation with Mika and Joe Brzezinski, residents of West Palm Beach, by the way, right down the road from his son, about the future and about unity. Is that something Donald Trump should be doing with his time? Or more accurately, is that what you elected him to do? Is my real question. All of a sudden, everybody's talking about unity, unity, unity. Not with evil. Not with evil. You don't give them the time of day. Real quick, though, we're going to get into this. We're going to do a brand new video over at the Patreon channel in just a couple of days. And it is going to have to do with the border and a group of people that is already in this country who are a much greater threat than anyone coming across the border. And I'm going to give specific examples. It's the biggest psyop I've seen in the last 20 years. Maybe the last 40, to be honest. That we take one group of people and we make them out to be the worst thing on the planet when literally the worst thing on the planet is living right within our midst. And we do nothing about it. If you'd like to join us over there, it's only $1 per month, and it's even less if you sign up for an entire year, and completely refundable for the first 90 days, no questions asked. We have 4 levels, 1, 5, 10, and 15. This next video we're going to do, as always, we lead off with everybody in the same room all together. Believe me, this is a video you're going to want to see. Love to have you over there. And like I said, kick the tires. If it's not for you, money comes right back at you. Nothing lost. Now, I found this image on the left, and I just had to share it with you guys real quick, because if you're a content creator out there and you're listening to what I'm saying here, you watch my videos, even the Patriot Nurse or Jennifer Veterans for Truth, BP Earthwatch, Southern Prepper 1, doesn't matter who, they would agree with this. See, there's a guy on the left and he's sitting on an iceberg, and the part that's sticking out of the water is his sins, the things he's done wrong. But below the water, nobody sees, is all of his good deeds. Then, of course, over on the right, then we have all of the trolls who love to make watching YouTube videos their pet project to save the world. And anytime they can see anything little sticking up above the water, they point it out. This man is bad. And of course, they point to their good deeds that are sticking out above the water, but nobody sees their sins. Because, of course, what do we know? They're not here every day. The days are coming when men will go mad, and when they meet a man who has kept his senses, they will rise up against him saying, "You are mad because you're not like us." St. Anthony the Abbot, I've used this before. Now, let's get the details. MSNBC's Morning Joe hosts reveal that they met with Trump at Mar-a-Lago to restart communications. Here's a quote from Donald Trump, just so we have everything out before we start discussing this. Donald Trump speaking here. "I received a call from Joe Scarborough requesting a meeting for him and Mika, and I agreed that it would be a good thing if such a meeting took place," Trump said in an interview. "Many things were discussed, and I am very much appreciate the fact that they wanted to have an open communication. In many ways, it's too bad that it wasn't done long ago." Here's my question. Why? You see, you might have been able to make the argument before the election. Maybe he's trying to be seen as reaching out to people who don't agree with him because he's trying to. But now, after the election is over, what possibly could Mika and Joe, the espousers of evil, the apologizers of evil, the explainers of evil, the supporters of evil, what role could they possibly play? These are the people who think it's okay for full-grown men who are mentally ill, who believe they're women, to dress up, wig, whatever, and go walk into girls' bathrooms, go walk into girls' changing rooms, go walk into girls' locker rooms, go participate in women's sports. They think that's fine, and if you don't, you're a hater. These are the people who think abortions all the way up until the 9th month, and even after, are okay. These are the people who wanted you to kneel for a certain group of people in this country, because historically, blah, 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 blah. These are the people that wanted you to roll up your sleeve and forcibly be jabbed. This is who you think Donald Trump should be reaching out and, trying to change their mind? Donald Trump, if he's doing this, makes the mistake of believing that their minds are the ones guiding them. It is not their minds. It is their emotions. And it tells me something about him. That he would take the time to meet with these people. What earthly reason could there possibly... Can they help him? No. Can they help me? No. Can they help you? No. Can they help make America great again? No. Could they possibly play any role? No. There's nothing they could possibly do. Why would he waste the time? And believe me, if you don't believe me anyway, believe these people. At least these people acknowledge that we're enemies. You're supposed to have enemies in life. This is the biggest American psyop I have ever seen. I swear to God, I shouldn't, but I do. This idea of needing to be friends with everybody, or needing to, like it's a football game, like when the football game's over, or going on, when the football game's going on, everybody's, oh, we don't like each other, oh, they're, after the whistle, they're knocking each other down and getting personal foul, and then after, everybody's friends. After, the game's over, everybody's friends, everybody's pals, everybody gets along, we're all just buddies, nothing really means anything, it's all an act. Hey, flat earthers, how are you justifying being a supporter of Donald Trump when his main primary advisor, Elon Musk, is clearly a global believer? He believes in the globe earth. He's a flat earth denier. And isn't it weird now that he is surrounding himself with Democrats? That the closest people to him were never Trumpers and Democrats. His vice president was one of the most vehement vocal never Trumpers, anti-Trumpers, far worse than Liz Cheney. And this guy, this Kennedy, let me show you something. This is from RT. This is an archive video where this Kennedy saying about RT, only station where I can tell the truth. U.S. media is owned by pharmaceutical companies which dictate and censor content. Trump's nominee for Secretary of Health and Human Services told RT in 2020. Now, to a YouTuber, this is laughable. Really? I get taken to task all the time for having a Patreon channel when people said, well, clearly, Mucky, if you really wanted to tell the truth, you would go to Rumble. You would go to Parler. You would go to BitChute. You would go to Telegram. You would go to blah, 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 blah. Okay, now do Kennedy. Now do Kennedy. Why doesn't that apply to him? You see, because for him, the only media worth using was the leftist mainstream media. And if it wasn't the leftist mainstream media with the mass global reach, ABC, NBC, CBS, then it wasn't really media. You didn't count. It wasn't important. And do you want me to watch me prove him wrong in one click? 2009. 2009, Jenny McCarthy and Jim Carrey, which I believe at that time were a bit of an item, went on Larry King Live on CNN in 2009 and did a special. And they brought doctors on and talked about the vaccine, the huge new crush of vaccines that had come out back in 1990 and how it was affecting children and the links. And Larry King had him on, and they talked about basically everything RFK was talking about. So for RFK to come out and say, no, it's never happened, you couldn't talk and they censored and blah, blah, blah. Here's 2009. You see, RFK wouldn't have wanted to be associated with the likes of Jim Carrey and Jenny McCarthy back then because he was a Kennedy. He had a reputation to keep. And for those of you who take task with me saying that, maybe this guy isn't who he says he is, and you believe that lawfare is some invention of anti-Trump Democrats and never Trumper Republicans. Oh, yeah. Oops. You see, there's a big portion of my audience out there who's already going, oh, gosh, dang it, yeah, I totally forgot. But then there's also another portion of my audience that's too young to remember this. Or they remember it incorrectly. See, back in the 90s, Bill Clinton was incredibly popular. Wildly popular president. Because he was middle of the road. Very conservative. And he was getting things done. But they didn't particularly care for his wife, who had her own, I guess, unique view on the world, so to speak. So when all this came out about Bill and Monica, there's a group of people out there that are so young they think, well, she had the blue dress and then she went to the media. That isn't what happened. That is not what happened. Those of you who are old enough to remember know that the abuse of lawfare was the reason this came out, that they were investigating Whitewater, that Congress was investigating a real crime primarily committed by her, but they decided to use it against an incredibly popular Democrat president. And during the investigation into Whitewater, it came out, somebody said, hey, we could make a lot more political hay talking about Bill Clinton's relationship with Monica Lewinsky than we'll ever make out of Whitewater. So we'll start talking about that. And they used their ability to go after a president and impeach a president, authority that was granted under the guise of investigating Whitewater, to bring this out and ruin people's lives. So just saying, it got started a long time ago. And then there's this story too about, but didn't you hear about this? The Democrats are planning a shadow cabinet. They're planning a secret government to operate behind the scenes. Yeah, you know where they got the idea? Conservatives in Great Britain. The Tories. The inflation-busting conservative shadow cabinet. You see, when they were voted out, they created their own shadow cabinet over there. This is where they got the idea from the conservatives, the right wing, in Great Britain. So, just saying. And I guess no Florida Maquis video would be complete without a Patriot Nurse reference. Since I get labeled, I'm just going to go ahead and go with it. Go to the Patriot Nurse channel and click on videos. And there's a little search thing right here that says you can search a topic. And search evil. Just the word evil. And if you don't think that I'm being fair to Mr. Trump, ask her. Ask her about her opinion of unity with evil. About it's all time to make friends with the Democrats now. And she's got videos going back long way, long way, talking about unity with evil and how bad of an idea that is. That somehow these people are going to be some type of an asset, that somehow it's going to make things better, somehow it's going to make things easier, somehow they're going to forgive and they're going to meet us halfway, and all this other horse shit and nonsense. I'll ask again before I leave. Number one, did you elect Donald Trump to, as soon as he got in power, to go try to make nice with the evil that is the Democrat Party? Is that why you elect him? And number two, what possible motive could he have that benefits you, me, or America? You see, I can see a motive where it would benefit him personally, because he's the kind of guy that can't stand the idea of anybody not liking him. I've made that allegation for a long time. I can see a personal benefit here for him, but not for you, not for me, not for America. And that will show you something. What could Mika and Joe do on MSNBC to be an asset to the Trump administration? What could they do? What could they do that would make a difference? You think they're going to change the mind of their supporters by giving him, quote unquote, fair coverage? You're delusional. Massive waste of time. Massive waste of time. I've called this guy a betrayer before, and I stand by my assertion that he is a betrayer. And as soon as he gets into office, I can smell this coming a mile away. There isn't going to be any mass deportation. There isn't going to be any of these things that have been talked about. But you might see gun control. You can say you heard it here first. God bless. Join us over at the Patreon channel. Would love to have you over there. Like I said, next couple days, we're going to do a video breaking down the group of people in this country that provably with statistics are a far greater threat to your safety than immigrants are. 1, 5, 10, 15, love to have you. God bless. Pray for each other. Pray for me. I'll pray for you. Lift each other up. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.